It's Psych Ups with Brian. Yay! And here you are. And today, you know what I'm going to talk about is leads because we want your leads. And of course, you make all the profits. We want to help close your leads, the experts in the business, the best in the business. We've actually been doing these live seller calls in front of big audiences for over 20 years. For 18 years, we did it on the road. We were out on the road in hotel ballrooms, and the students there would turn in their lead sheets and we would evaluate the lead sheets and we'd go up on stage and we'd put them in some kind of order to call and we'd just start calling them bing, 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 bing in front of everybody with us up on stage. Now, if we didn't get a hold of one of them, the student was right there. So we'd say, okay, text them that your partner just tried to call and please call back right away. Okay. Now, you guys won't actually be at this event. So, what we do is we text them right away. So as soon as we call them, and this is what I recommend to you, because you're going to be calling FSBOs over this weekend and turning them into us on Monday or before so that we can call them. Tony, I already know Tony turned some in. You guys know how sharp Tony is. Tony's a quality heavy hitter doing business out here. And so he's turned in some leads. And so I want you guys to do, and guys, it can be leads that you generate in the next 2 days or next 3 days here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what do you do with them? I want you to text me that you sent them, but I want you to email them to me. So do you know where to email, you guys, pretty much by now? And we're looking for these emails. So you should be, I want you to put leads or Brian, probably both, in caps in the subject line. And then I will be sure to see it. And I don't want to miss your leads, especially if we're trying to call them all. And so I'm also going to put my phone number in here again, which I put in here many times before. So I want you to also text me. If you send some leads in, text me, hey, I sent some leads in, or text me, or you can text the leads in too. You can attach them to a text if you want, but just get me any leads. Now, how do you do this again? I want you to just go on Zillow or Craigslist and look up for sale by owners. And Zillow is kind of cool because you can see every single one of them on the map as a little red dot. So we do have to go through on Zillow the pre-screening buttons. So at the top, remember, you hit for sale. There's 3 choices there: for sale, sold, which is supposed to be recently sold, and for rent. Okay, so there's 3. That's purple dots is for rent, yellow is recently sold, and red is for sale. So we want the red dots, but we don't want all the agent red dots, because I will talk to agents and I definitely want all of you to have a realtor network going. I want you to have several realtors that know what you're doing and will ask sellers for you, are you open to taking monthly payments? Okay. However, for this calling session on Monday, can't really call realtors because realtors can't make a decision. I mean, we're trying to close deals on the phone. So who could make a decision about their own house? The seller. So we want to talk to for sale by owner. The owner or seller obviously is the one who makes the final decision. So if we can get them on the phone, I want you to again use our FSBO opening call script that's in your what to say and what to do system in the forms folder. And so just print off about 20 of those and print off 20 closing call prep sheets as well. Because when you are doing your opening calls, where do you take notes? Seriously, where do you take notes? Do you have just a blank pad or something? No, that's not good. Are you just scribbling it in the margins? That's terrible. Are you writing on the back? That's terrible. You can't look at what you're doing. So you're going to write your notes always on a closing call prep sheet. Because if you're doing an opening call, you're getting ready to do the closing call. So you're taking information as you're gathering it from the opening call and putting it onto that closing call prep sheet. And like the seller's hot buttons, it says right. And so you're asking in the opening call, when do you want to move? And can I ask why you're moving? Okay. So if I get the answers to those questions, I can a lot of times sense that, what kind of urgency do they have? Okay. So, that's really important to me, is to get that information. So if you guys get that information, it's helpful. What would I like to see when you guys turn in leads? I'd like to see some rapport built. Notes is what I love. I love notes. And because that gives me something to work with. Sometimes I get a lead sheet and it's just the bare bones. And I have to ask, did you actually talk to this person or not? because there's certainly no notes on here. So if you actually talk to them, where's all the notes? So if you do talk to people, even if you talk to them for 2 minutes, there's going to be some notes in there. So if you can build rapport, here's the 3 things: build rapport, take good notes, and ask the one question, are you open to monthly payments? Okay, that's the big 3 things that I like to see get done. Now, there's a lot of other questions on the form, like when do you want to move? Can I ask why you're moving? I don't want you to just blurt it out. So why are you moving? Can I ask why you're moving? It's just kind of a nicer way to say it. Remember, everything in that script, everything in all the scripts is worded so carefully. So as much as you can, literally stick word for word to the script. I know me, and I like to kind of range far and wide, and I like to kind of get off the scripts and show I'm independent. But honestly, I do better when I stick to the scripts, because the script says it just exactly the perfect way. And sometimes certain questions need to be said perfectly, exactly the right way. Like when you're asking for mortgage information, that's kind of a precise bit. So, sometimes sometimes the sellers we work with have mortgage on the house. Sometimes it's free and clear. And so it's how you approach the questions. And if you just blurt out, so how much do you owe on your mortgage? What's going to be a natural owner or seller's reaction is going to be, well, what do you want to know that for? But see, now in our script, you've already kind of explained what we do. You've explained that when we buy a distressed house, we pay cash, and we pay cash for the repairs. However, with a nice house like yours, the way we do it is we do it with monthly payments. Okay, so that's a different approach. And so then they understand what we're doing. So then when I get down to the point where I'm asking them about the mortgage, they understand what I'm trying to do is take over the mortgage. So they don't say, well, why do you need to know that? Okay, they'll never ask you that. If they're ever asking you, why do you need to know my mortgage? It means you haven't used the script right. You haven't laid the groundwork by reading that script before, which says why you need it. Now, some FSBO scripts, the mortgage information is near the top. You're asking them for their mortgage information pretty much right after you've said, how much, whatever, just the basic information. In our script, in our FSBO opening call, there's a section of you kind of explaining what we do, just what I just said, actually. The whole thing about the distressed house, we pay cash, but this kind of house like yours, you buy it with monthly payments, that section. And so when you use that section, then you explain the deal, and it comes off way better and smoother, and people are more clear on what you do. So now I don't mind if you guys are using, or if you have VAs using some other FSBO script, I'm totally cool with that. So if you got 5 or 10 or whatever, however many FSBO scripts on another form, that's cool. I'm totally fine with that. However, I think you're going to find that you get much higher success ratio, much higher closing ratio, much better rapport built, much customers that are a lot easier to work with if you're using the FSBO opening call from the What to Say and What to Do system. Okay, so that's what I want you to have. Now, if you don't have our What to Say and What to Do system, and you want to make calls and you need that form, send me an email. Send me an email or send me a text, and I will send you the form. Okay, I'll send you the most recent version of the FSBO call. And you can tell that because there's a little box on the right upper side that says year built, and it says bedroom, bathroom, and square footage. And I like that there because it's just at a glance, I can see kind of what kind of a house I'm looking at without having to go into the detailed form. And plus it saves space, actually. That's another consideration. So if you want, use the FSBO, if you got them. If you don't got them, ask me for them and I'll send them to you. I'll send you the form. If you're using another form, I'm still cool with that. Now, here's the important thing. What were the 3 things again? That number 1, you build some kind of rapport. They kind of like you. They have a good feeling about you. At least they are not like total mistrust and who the heck is this person calling me? And that's part of your bio. So does everybody have a bio? That's a big part of building rapport is you say, and you'll see it, it's right in the FSBO script. You'll say, just so you know a little bit about us. And then it says, that's where you say your bio. And that's where you would say, at the minimum that you say is we buy and sell houses all around the area. Okay, now everybody should have something else in there as well. But you know, that's even in the script. We buy and sell houses all around the area. And so that anybody can say that, even if you have zero real estate experience, you can say that. And it seems like you have real estate experience, or it seems like you're in the game. All right. However, if you actually do have real estate experience, I want you to incorporate that in there. And also, if you have a job that makes you sound like a very credible, trustworthy person or a nice person, like if you're a doctor or a nurse or a chiropractor or I don't know, anything, an engineer, you know, anything that people tend to put, you know, accord some level of respect to, get it in there because that's important, you know, that they know. And they need a story too. Remember, anytime somebody sells a house on creative financing where they're doing something different than the normal traditional sale, you know, they've got to have some kind of story in their mind and a story to tell their spouse and their kids and their brother and sister. I'm selling my house to this nice person who used to be an agent, and then they used to run an office for Ameriquest Mortgage downtown, and then they started their own business just helping out people by buying and selling their houses directly. That's basically our story. That's a lot of our credibility. I ran a mortgage office for Ameriquest. Lynette used to sell new homes. We also get that in there. So we have that really solid chunk of credibility there. And so they say, okay, these are the people that are buying my house. It makes sense. Now, if you're a nurse and you've never bought a house before, you tell them you're a nurse in your bio, but you also say, you know, and I buy and sell houses all around the area. I'm a nurse. I work over at Banner, and I also buy and sell houses all around the area. And it sounds, wow, this is a pretty cool nurse. They have a cool side gig that they do that's, you know, that helps people. And I always project that too. I always have something in my bio about we love helping people. We love helping local families. We even work with people with bad credit. And if people are clicking with you based on that, when you start saying we love to help people out, you know, and we love working with sellers and buyers and being very creative. And you know, sometimes everybody's situation doesn't fit in the cookie cutter model of selling through an agent. I mean, obviously you're offering your house for sale by owner, so yours didn't fit in that cookie cutter model. So maybe, you know, creatively, let's talk about what we can do here. And then you say, you know, we'll make monthly payments. You'll get a really nice payment every month, or, you know, and then you work it out from there. Stick to the script, like I said, as much as you can. I don't want you to try to close the deal. If you're sending us the lead, if you're calling FSBOs over the weekend, and this is a great kick in the butt, guys, this is a great motivation. If you haven't called FSBOs for a while and you've just been meaning to do it, this is it. Okay. Someday is this weekend. All right. Or today. And so call some FSBOs. They're easy to find. And I don't care what city they're in. If you look at your place, now I looked up, we have a student in Grand Junction, Colorado. Okay. And there's 8 FSBOs in Grand Junction, Colorado. And there's some FSBOs in the outlying areas, but we're not talking about 30 or 40 FSBOs. So, you know, I'm okay if you do a couple of different cities. You do your city and you do maybe, you know, Cleveland or some other city, especially if you know somebody there who you'd like to work with in real estate. You already have boots on the ground. Now, if you don't have boots on the ground, I don't care. We will teach you how to buy and sell and actually have a cash flowing portfolio in another city. We have properties in 5 different states. And the management is we don't have a lot of management issues because we sell them on lease purchase. So they're responsible for the repairs, and it's a pretty dream situation. So I want everybody to own properties in other areas. And here's the dream thing now, guys, listen to me on this. I'd like it if you can keep your FSBOs that you're calling over this weekend under 300. Okay, now I'm totally cool if you live in an area where there's only 8 FSBOs and they're all $500,000 or more, and you call them all and you turn in a couple there. I'm totally cool with that. I like calling the more expensive ones too. But what are the ones that are the most likely to work out? The most likely to actually close is the ones under 300. Why is that? Because the monthly payment on a mortgage gets more than what you can rent the place out for at a certain point. And so if you got a $500,000 house, whatever that mortgage payment is probably more than what you're going to be able to rent that house for. So that's where the challenge comes in. Now, if you stumble into some seller who has a expensive house, $500,000 to $2 million house, and it's free and clear, and all you got to absolutely cover is the taxes and insurance, and then however much they want over and above that, then maybe we've got something to talk about. Okay, then maybe we can work something out because the seller is just eating it on a vacant house, and they might be flexible. So I'm okay with the more expensive houses. Those are the most motivated sellers right now. The people who have houses between, and I want you to actually, you can do a search on Zillow for houses between 500,000 to 2 million, and you can call on them and see how flexible that seller is. And some of them are they need debt relief is the biggest problem. And they've got some kind of mortgage and it's got a big payment, and the house is sitting there vacant. And so that's a high quality lead right now. But again, the ones that are mostly going to work out are the ones probably under 300, even under 200, because the monthly payments there almost always work out. The monthly payment that they're paying to the bank now is usually less than what we can get for rent. Okay, and that's sort of the magic part of the formula. Is there a spread? And obviously you don't want to buy houses without a spread. Now I will tell you, Lucky, I don't know if Lucky's on, but Lucky sent us a bunch of leads and they're kind of near, they're kind of close. Okay, it's like their payment is $2,400 and the rentals estimate is $2,200. Well, could we possibly make that work? Yeah, we might possibly be able to make that work. We might be able to push the rent a little bit. We might do some strategies there with a down payment assistance or something like that to get the payment up to $2,500. And if they're giving us a bunch of free equity in a long term, if the other parts of the deal, if the other terms are great, then that could be an awesome deal. Okay, so don't pre-screen the deals before you send them to us. Let us pre-screen them. There may be a way to make it work that's better than you think, that you might look at it and say, that's not such a great deal. Call every FSBO you can. You can't call too many. You can't turn in too many scripts, guys. And this could be a big boost for your business. And this could be a deal. You could get a deal out of this batch of calls, and that's the goal. We want to get you a deal out of this batch of calls that you do over today, tomorrow, and Sunday, or whatever days you want to do it. But again, I don't care if you turn in 20 leads. So it's unlimited. We never get enough leads to call. So if you inundate us with leads, I would be a happy man. And we even call for the first 2 days. We don't just do it on that 2 hours, because we really want to get you guys deals. So we actually continue to call for like Monday and Tuesday. Now, don't forget, if you do turn in leads, what are you going to do? You're going to tell your sellers that your partner from Arizona is going to call them on Monday night. It's the 6th, and we're going to call them between probably about 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so if you're on the East Coast, it's between 7 and 8 roughly. On the West Coast, that would be like between 4 and 5. Roughly, and we go a little bit later than that. So, but I just want them to be watching and see when they see that 480 area code, they're gonna say, I don't know who that is, and they won't pick up. So if you just tell them in advance, my partner is going to be calling you back. I'm going to talk to my partner about your house. I'm very interested in buying it. It sounds great. And, say the word great a lot. That's my favorite word. This is going to work out great. This is going to be great for you guys. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for everybody. This is going to be great. Okay, so they start thinking maybe this is going to be great. And then when we call, they're already set. They're already primed to do the deal. So again, the best things you can do is build some good rapport, get them to like you, and a little trust. Say your bio. Make sure you have a good little bio to say. And then after you build rapport, make sure you let them know. Ask that question: would you be open to monthly payments? Okay, that's the one question I kind of want to know. And then that's pretty much it. Okay, and then tell them we'll be calling. So those are the important parts. Build rapport. Ask them if they would take monthly payments, and even if they say no, we've turned a lot of no's into yeses. So don't say, okay, that's a no, I'm not going to send that one in. Send those no's in. Say, sometimes, especially if you talk to the seller, write notes. Oh yeah, that was the third thing, is write notes. So the 3 things that I really need from you are build some rapport, write great notes on the lead sheet when you turn it in, just whatever you can remember. And sometimes the little things is like the name of the dog. And, I see you have a dog named Scruffy. We have 4 dogs. What kind of dog do you have? Stuff like that is gold sometimes for building rapport. So if you have little personal notes plus any deal notes, anything you talk about with money, and that shouldn't come up too much on the opening call. That's mostly the closing call. And don't forget to print up a bunch of closing call prep sheets to take notes on while you're making your opening calls. Okay, so that's the assignment. So it's like I've given you an assignment, and again, you can call Zillow. It has FSBOs all over the country, and you can pick a city you've never even thought of before. Toledo, Ohio. I'm going to do that city. You know, go to this city, pull them up on Zillow, look under under more. That's how you find the FSBOs. You go first, you click that for sale, then you go down to the more button. You click that, you get a drop down menu, and in that more section, click everything off except owner posted. Okay, there's agent listed, click that off. There's new construction, click that off. There's auctions, click that off. Vacant land, coming soon. Nothing should be checked except owner posted, and that will get you your FSBOs. And then you can look back at the map over on the left, and you can see where the little red dots are and how many red dots are there. Okay, like I said, some areas don't have a ton of FSBOs, so call anywhere you want and turn them in, and we would be happy to work those leads for you. So that was a long session on calling FSBOs and the best way to do it. Now, if I'm not calling yours, follow all the same tips that I just told you. Follow those same tips for when you're doing it for your own business. Hey, Isabel, great to see you. You're going to turn in leads, Isabel? I hope so. Tony and Angie, I know Tony already sent some in. Yes, we got those. So awesome. Such a great action taker. More to come. Oh, that's exciting. That's awesome. Okay, remember, guys, that's the email to send it to. And when you send it to that email, you're also going to put that phone number in there. Whoops, it should be 480. It's like my area code did not get in there. So I'll retype that, 4800. Unfortunately, guys, this is not a free event. It's a paid event. People paid money to go to this. So I can't let you guys just come. Okay. So otherwise, yeah, if it was a free event, I would be telling you guys, how to come and how to sign up and how to go. But this is something that people paid a bunch of money to come to. Okay, and then they come to the event and they don't turn in leads, and I try to get them to turn in leads, and they're the ones who should be turning in leads. They paid to come, and here I'm working your guys' leads. Okay, so I got the phone number right there. All right, so this one, I want you guys to, again, email it to me, email any leads, and then text me that you did it. And I always check my text. So my text, I will not miss it if you put something in my text. Sometimes things get missed or go into spam or something in the email. Okay. Hey, Charles, good to see ya. I asked you once, do you go by Charlie, Chuck, Charles? I always call you Charles. Maybe it's just Charles. Got some leads coming your way. Okay. Wrapping up opening calls. Awesome. Guys, even if you weren't thinking you were going to do this, you can now do it. Try to find some time. Saturday is usually the best day, to be honest, to call people. So if you can sit down with our FSBO opening call script and call some people, that'd be awesome. Yes, partner will call Monday, 7 to 8 Eastern from a 480 area code. Yeah, I'll tell you, the big challenge is not that we don't get enough lead sheets, but so many sellers don't pick up because they don't recognize our number. Okay. You're finding you have to double or even triple dial these folks if they do not recognize the number to show I am not a bot. Yeah. Okay. So people are getting calls from bots and just, sales calls. And so they don't recognize your number. And so a lot of times they come in as potential spam. Sometimes people's phone numbers come in and they actually come in that way. So so Tony, what Tony's talking about is doing a double tap or even a triple tap, calling people and then calling them right back and saying, oh, I forgot to leave a message. I just called you right back. Sometimes they'll pick up the second time because they'll think, oh, this person really needs to get a hold of me. Hey, Jennifer, you were on a business call. Well, that's good. That's a good thing to be on. Hopefully it was a FSBO seller call. Charles or Charlie. Awesome. Thank you. And we'll be calling leads. Yes, we have some to send. Great. Had to help my parents. Okay. Well, we'll be back on schedule. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jennifer. That's sweet of you to be a doting daughter. That's a role that everybody should play. I mean, daughter or son. Be kind to your parents. And that is a role that's important and sometimes supersedes our real estate investing role. Okay, we got a cacophony of dogs here barking. Hey. All right. So guys, let's have a great weekend. Let's get some great calls made. Let's turn them in, and we will be following up with all of you guys. I will be doing I won't be here for Monday's Psych Ups with Brian, but I will be here next Friday. So a week from today, Monday, we'll be doing that event and we'll be calling your leads. So again, you keep all the money. We don't take any profit. We will call and give you updates on any leads we're able to get a hold of. And so it's very exciting time. So this is a great opportunity and a great reason and a great excuse to really kick your business into high gear and get a deal done in the next 30 days with our help. Awesome. Okay, so I love. I'm gonna turn in deals. Okay, I'm gonna turn in deals. That's our affirmation. 3 times on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna turn in deals. I'm gonna turn in deals. I'm gonna turn in deals. Yes. Okay. I hope you guys all turn in deals. 3 deep breaths. Nice deep breath in. Big smile. Start your day with a smile. I thought that a whole bunch of times this morning. Another deep breath. And always hold it for a little bit. You know, you can increase your lung capacity when you just take really deep breaths. So many of us go through our whole day with these little shallow breaths. We're only using like the top third of our lungs. We're not taking those deep breaths and filling the whole of our lungs and even expanding our lungs. Okay, so one more. Real deep. Hold it and awesome. Good job. Deep breathing is so fun. It makes you feel good. All right. So guys, I will talk to you soon. I will see you on Friday, but I will be in touch with you by email and text for all of you turning in these awesome leads. And it'll be a lot of fun and lucrative as well on top of it. So until I talk to you next time, keep expecting success, getting awesome training. Oh, there's Charles. Great stuff as always. Have a great weekend, everybody. Okay. Get awesome training from the Wolf Couple and keep taking action. I know you're going to take action.